The Reserve Bank signalled last week it's looking at a rate cut anyway. There's already scope with low inflation, low unemployment.
Fran, the Reserve Bank did that against a backdrop of understanding the government's determination to return the budget to surplus. Fiscal policy is in the right zone to take the pressure off monetary policy, to give the Reserve Bank room to move should it determine to do so. It will also lock in confidence for the future. We live in uncertain economic times globally. A great way of sending a signal of confidence about our economy to the world is returning the budget to surplus, and we will. It's an economic imperative, and that's why we're driven to do it.
It's an economic imperative, but some are asking at what cost. We don't know exactly the numbers, of course, until budget night, but at this stage the deficit for the current financial year will be at least $40 billion. 1 year later, your scheduled surplus. It's already been pointed out no Australian government has ever attempted such a huge withdrawal of spending in just 1 year, and that's been described by some as seriously reckless, could cost thousands of jobs and push the economy into recession. What do you say to those people who are worried about that kind of withdrawal?
Well, I'd say don't worry, because we'll be returning the budget to surplus in circumstances where we are forecasting around trend growth. Fran, we've got to be very clear about the state of the Australian economy today so that any of these issues in people's minds about what's around the corner can be properly dealt with. The Australian economy today is one where its fundamentals are strong. We've got unemployment at 5.2%. We've got an economy returning to around trend growth. We've got more than $400 billion of investment in the pipeline in the resources sector alone. We've got a high Australian dollar, and that's putting strain on some areas, for example, on manufacturing. Now, when you look at all of that, you've got to work out what is in the interests of the Australian economy today. Well, with an economy returning to trend growth, with us wanting to make as much room as we can for the Reserve Bank to move, should it choose to do so, on interest rates, with us wanting to lock in confidence and send a signal to the world, the right economic zone to be in is with a budget surplus. Now,
yes, but is it a threat to the... Is it a threat to the return to trend growth if you take out this amount of government spending?
The return to trend growth, Fran, will be in a budget that has a surplus. So these things aren't done independently of each other. Our Treasury doesn't sit around forecasting what it thinks growth is going to be, not understanding what the government's fiscal strategy is. These things are done as a seamless whole. Our economic forecasters, the ones who have served the nation well under Labor governments and under coalition governments, are forecasting a return to basically trend growth.